Hey everyone, we had some pretty big tournaments this weekend. We had the BCS Mexico as well as WGP Osaka, with Mexico being the last tournament in our current season, and Osaka showing off some of the new cards from set 7. So we're going to take a look at all of them, but first off, let's take a look at Mexico and what we see. So here, we're going to start off with Premium. This is going to be changing quite significantly, basically today, right? Today. And we can see in the top 8, there was two Gear Chronicle, 2 Narukami, 1 was Dungaree, and 1 was Eradicators. And those 1 Ripples, 1 Highlander, then 1 Regalia, and 1 Jewel Knight making it. And then the top 4 was, first place was the Eradicators, and then second and third was the Mystery Flare Dragon, and then fourth was the Highlander. And if we want to take a look at the list, so this is the 3rd place list here. This is the MFD. It is going away. Basically, it's gone. It is gone. This one was running just like 2 of the dogs as well that you get for the shop challenge. And that's how you really pop off well. But apart from that, it's your good old MFD list that was just too good to be true, and now it's banned, right? But then also had a chat with Daniel Herrera, and he showed off. He was the one who top 8'd with Regalia and was just running this Regalia list. This is very V-ish Regalia. You know, you add in a lot of the new cards. You know, you have the new Frigg here, and then you have the new Lorelogisa, right? I can't say the name. It helps you kind of soul charge. And also the Ordena, which is quite interesting. It just allows you to be aggressive, and then it goes into soul and draws you a card. So it just does a bit of everything, right? But also taking into 3 of the grade 1 PGs. And this is just the Regalia PG from before, and that means you're allowed to run just a lot of crits and some over triggers. And you're pretty much good to go. And that's pretty much just like the slightly updated Regalia now. And it made, you know, Daniel made it to top 8, so congratulations. But yeah, very, very cool. At least we see this deck might still be relevant going into the next season. Because, you know, MFD is gone, right? MFD is gone. But then also in V, we have the V Premium list. We have 3 Gear Chronicle making it, but 3 Royal Paladin making it as well. And then 1 Shadow and 1 Nova Grappler. And there was like an Ultimal here. And then if you look at the top 4, you see there's no Steam Maiden at all. They all died, right? They're all gone. So here we have like first place was actually the Jewel Knight. Then second was the Raging Form. Third was the Nova Grappler. And fourth was the Ultimal. We have the 2 first and second place lists. So we have the Jewel Knights. And, you know, very Jewel Knighty, right? Basically, you just have all the Jewel Knight stuff, and it's a pretty good core to go with. But also, we're like splitting between like the 2 Heal Guard and the 2 20k Shield is interesting. Also, the kind of, it's like a 3-4-3 split. Normally, we see a lot of people more like emphasizing the Ashleys, but this one has a high Salome lineup as well, so that's quite interesting. And then the Raging Form list here is just kind of, you know, 3 Brandman list of Revengers, and the rest of it is just, well, actually 2 Leafall as well. Yeah, some interesting text there, but basically, Kai, what happened to Steam Maiden? It's supposed to be the best deck. Why didn't it make top 4, at least, right? Well, you know, stuff happens. It happens, but also when you look at these decks that did kind of make it through the top 4, they're all very aggressive decks. Let's kind of go back. We have, you know, these 2 we've seen. You know, these are known to be very aggressive decks early. Nova Grappler, you know, stands a lot, does the thing, you know, high roll, pretty good. Ultimal also can play very aggressive too. So you have a bunch of decks that wants to play very aggressive early. The thing is, Steam Maiden is good every single point in the kind of game, right? Unless it just bricks, right? But every deck has a weak point, and that weak point is usually at the beginning of the game when the game is very simplified and, you know, you can kind of just win through just rushing people down. And that's exactly where Steam Maiden, you can press Steam Maiden. If you let Steam Maiden do its own thing, it's going to +3, draw a billion cards. It's just going to out-tempo you, right? But at the beginning, in those key moments of the game, especially when they haven't searched their Heal Guardian, you have a decent chance to simplify the game down enough that your next few turns, and if you play really fast, the game will just end, right? Just end. So yeah, Steam Maidens still had a good showing. 3 out of top 8 is still very, very strong, but you have ways to kind of deal with it. I wouldn't say they're like the best ways, but again, it's best of 1, so anything can happen in a best. Now with standard though, I don't think Fuzzy has gotten the standard results yet because I didn't see it. right? Again, go Follow Fuzzy Paradox. Does a great job. Makes all these nice graphics. I did have a quick chat with Jesus as well. He did mention that apparently the top 3 in standard was all prisons. They were just all Seraphs. So just put Seraph Pure Light like 1, 2, and 3. We don't know the 4th, but hey, 4th doesn't make it to World, so it doesn't matter. But if 3 prisons in top 4 is correct, then, you know, seems pretty good. I'm not complaining. I'm a huge prison fan, right? I wouldn't say I love prison, because that would sound really weird if you take it out of context. But, you know, I love Seraph, alright? You know, very, very cool. People, again, I always say people think they know how to deal with prison, but they don't, right? Eventually, they get trapped, and they just stay in prison, pretty much. So, pretty cool. All the results. I'd like to just see, maybe, if we see more of the deck list. Bushido has been posting, like, top 4 on their Twitter, usually, but this one, apparently they just didn't. So, moving to the other side of the world, we have WGP Osaka. This is what we're looking at, just a table, right, of just at the end of Swiss. And why we're looking at this, because, you know, Japan runs that diversity cut, and we do kind of want to look at where they cut for the tournament, so we know which kind of decks, which teams were kind of made it through because of the cut. And that's just what I want to look at. This is only for B block. Osaka is very, very big. A lot of people playing, so they had divided into 2 blocks. In B block, it looks like undefeateds went all the way down to top 6. So what this means is it doesn't matter what you play, you make it in, but that means the last 2 teams made it in because of their decks were more unique than other teams, right? And with the A block, I kind of did my own calculations to kind of figure it out, but I'll kind of talk about that later. So first off, let's kind of just look at the top 8 after Swiss. So here for A block, the one that we didn't see, the first team was running a Barrow Magnus, Seraph, and Bastion. And bear in mind, this is in the set 7 format, but these old decks are still trooping pretty well, right? Then the second team was running Nirvana, Youthberg, and Seraph. Then third was running Youthberg, Gravidia, and Overlord. And fourth was running Gravidia, Overlord, and TD Youthberg. Now you might be wondering, why are you running TD Youthberg? Because of that diversity cut. The diversity cut only looks at the grade 3 in your ride line, so if you run the TD Youthberg, it is not the same as the booster pack Youthberg, so good old diversity, right? And sometimes, you know, it's not bad running the new TD versions of the cards, because they do have, it just means you have an extra persona ride in the deck, so if you do have that kind of space to spare, it can kind of work out. Now, I did do my own calculations, and the top cut would have been either in, like, for A block, would have been at the 5th and lower, would have been the diversity cut, or it would have been 6th. But I think it is 5th, just because we start to see heavily diverse decks versus the not so diverse in the top 4, just by the diversity weighting. You can just do it by yourself. You basically just calculate, hey, was this deck in the top 4? And when you start to see, like, numbers that are, like, lower than the ones that are before, then you know they've kind of cut differently, right? Here we have the Lutetia, Overlord, and Ava, and that's just kind of following the trend where, you know, you bring any kind of Bermuda deck from set 3, and it's just a good deck. It performs well, and you're good. It's just good, right? Here we also see the same thing in 6th place. They brought a blue Zorga, actually, but also brought a Michu and a Bastion. So here, you know, the Bastion was, you know, played before, but hey, the Zorga and the Michu taking it through. Then in 7th and 8th, we see some pretty unique decks. We have a Flagberg, which is surprising. We haven't seen a Flagberg yet in A block, so the Flagberg, hey, worked out pretty well. But then we see a Jiva and a Youthberg. The Jiva is the one that is unique, because I think out of all the Jiva support in 7, it was kind of lackluster, so this kind of making it through is kind of interesting, and it didn't have a terrible record. I think, I read some of the tweets. I think the Flagberg player didn't have the best record, so the Jiva one must have done a bit better, but I don't think the Jiva one posted its results either. And then in the 8th place, we had the Youthberg Drejeweled and the Jiva as well. So again, the Jiva not in the top cut undefeateds, and the Drejeweled also not in the undefeated. So these kind of bring it through. Not 100% sold on Drejeweled though, so be kind of interesting to see the list. I do have it set it up a bit later. And then in the B block, bit different. First place, we have that Seraph Overlord Youthberg line. And then second place, we have the TD Youthberg, Dianos, and Tamayura line. So the Dianos, wow, you know, kind of nice diversity pick. I did kind of take a quick look as well. The Dianos play didn't do amazingly well. Right? Didn't do that well. But you know, if you want to fill a Brandgate slot, and all of these teams have basically been trying to fill a Brandgate spot, right? If you take a Seraph or a Gravidia, I'm pretty sure you're not making it through with Diversity. So you're gonna have to pick between like the Orphists and the Avas and the Dianoses. And I can guarantee you that I think the Dianos might be one of the least kind of liked decks, because Orphist is still okay, and Ava is still a pretty good deck too, right? If you really don't want to mean anything, then sure, the Dianos will be a good pick. You could technically bring Wilstra as well, but hey. Lamau, right? Then the third place had the Youthberg, Nirvana, and Gravidia, so very meta lineup as well. Fourth place was the Flagberg, Gravidia, and Youthberg. And then in fifth place, we had the Youthberg, Gravidia, and Ovos. Very, very meta picks, pretty much. And in the sixth place, this was the last undefeated team, was Flagberg, Nirvana, and Gravidia. And then in seventh, here comes the diversity picks. So we do have the Lutetia, Bavsaga, and Barrow Magnus, right? All of these picks haven't been selected as well. So this is, I think, no Barrow Magnus, right? Yeah. So these 100% haven't been picked. And then next we have the Phantom Blaster, Overlord, Gravidia, and Lutetia making it through. So again, Bermuda's kind of helping you carry through the diversity land. But then, you know, the Barrow as well. One of those picks were in Japan, probably not as popular, especially in these tournaments. But then the Bav, you know, Bav, crazy. You know, Phantom Blaster, Overlord as well. Bit, you know, when you're in that Ava meta as well, you know, technically PBO is slightly nerfed, but hey, maybe no one's played it. Maybe everyone's just playing Prison, right? But let's look at what actually won in the top fours for each of the blocks. So in block, let's go to block A first. So block A, we do have the Youthberg, Gravidia, and Overlord coming first, and then Gravidia, Overlord, TD Youthberg, right? Then the Jiva team managed to make it through to third place. You know, the Flagbird, Jiva, and the Youthberg, and the Zorga team also managed to sneak through to fourth place as well. That's right, pretty crazy. And then let's take a look at the B block. So B block, we had that Flagberg, Nirvana, and Gravidia. Then second place, the Seraph, Overlord, and Youthberg. Third, we have the Youthberg, Gravidia, and Overlord. And lastly, in the fourth place, we do have that TD Berg, TD Burke, with the Dianos and the Tamayura, right? So let's kind of take a look at these new decks and what's kind of been going on. So first, I wanted to take a look at was this this kind of Youthberg deck. This is the meta build, pretty much. Let's kind of zoom in a bit. Take a quick look at this. Yeah, so this is pretty much the meta right now, what everyone is running. I haven't seen another build of this, though, where they run more of the grade 3 kind of guard restrict, and then you can kind of boost it with this new grade 1. You go, whoa, cool, nice, very, very cool. But you see here, you know, no draws going full front. You actually do get a lot of cards now because of the Tempest. Actually, kind of interesting that they're still running one Zest. I know a lot of decks kind of took them out because, hey, why run that many grade 3s? You know, you already got the good stuff. Let's just forget about the Zest. But, you know, looks like the first place team did want to keep it, right? So kind of interesting. Pretty cool. Then the other deck I wanted to see was this Jiva list. So this was the third place Jiva list. And this one is kind of interesting. It's running like kind of anime style where you have the arcs, you know? I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this. You know, you got the Garo. It's still got a bit of everything, you know, the Garos, but hey, you know, when you see the anime, you got that the arcs finish, right? So I don't know. I still don't think it's that good. I don't think it's that good. There's just so many one-offs in this, it just doesn't feel right. But hey, you know, there's ways to kind of salvage specific parts, so it might not be that bad. But we'll see. We'll look at the other Jiva list as well. That's interesting, right? Then we have the Flagberg list. So this is what Flagberg kind of looks like after it got some support. I got some things I kind of don't agree with, I have to say. You know, only 3 Shelling Cannon Dragon, we're getting this. But then we have, like, you know, the Inla Pulse. And then only 1 Ascendance Assault, though. This guy used to be really good. Why are we only running this at 1? It's another target that can, like, multi-attack, right? Even though we got a new target. But then it's also got, like, the grade 1 that can help you, usually a Leonore in grade 1, but it's not really. This one just kind of lets you grab any card for CB1 from the drop zone. So I guess it just kind of helps you grab specific targets, you know, grab more Inla Pulses. And also running one of this new card, this new dragon, it's I don't know, it's Rousing Breath Dragon, right? So This one kind of lets you use Flagberg's effect for free if it's in like the middle back row circle. And then your Flagberg attacks on the 5th time. I think it's like very, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. That's usually where like Shelling Cannon wants to go. And then this guy is like so specific. You're only running one copy. You want to just like run one extra card that is like good. Right, so I'm not a huge fan of this. But hey, you know, this is the best performing Flagberg of the day. So it is what it is. Then we have the other Jiva list. I actually like this Jiva list a bit more. Just because, you know, it's running more 4-ofs for a lot of things. This guy is running more, like, he went the boar life, right? Full boar, right? 4 boars, 4 of the other guy. I forgot, Bram, right? And then 4 of the new grade 2 prayer dragon as well. Also running the Togashi Rashi. That's right, Togashi Rashi. Just to generate the soul, because, you know, I guess you're just spamming boar skill to get that, just kind of retire the field and get that extra drive check. But apart from that, you know, the rest of the deck just like run 4-ofs of everything just to be super consistent. So I actually kind of like this build more, right? Better than the other one, which is a bit more over the place. And then lastly, we do have that Jeweled list. This one is, I guess it's okay. You know, a lot of the list is just pretty much just how do I make enough soul again so I can soul blast 4 different cards. I like how it's not running the gimmicky Bruce, grade 4 Bruce that I think I saw a lot of times in some of the more local lists. This one's just going, yeah, why run a dead card, right? Why run a dead card? Let's just run good cards and just soul charge, you know, the stuff that we need, right? So I actually like this one a bit more. So yeah, that's pretty much all the lists that we see today. Should be pretty interesting. Actually, pretty interesting. Some of these set 7 developments, especially in the tournament life, like the tournament land. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, bye.